Welcome, traveler. Best Diablo news ever. Let's swap to Torment 4 and I'll show you something. We will teleport to Endario and summon the lady in question. Now pay close attention to what's happening. There are no more faces. You can actually blast her. But what you might have noticed is that as you blast her down, she gets 2 barriers. And this is Blizzard's compromise to the invulnerability phases. They still exist if you don't kill the boss fast enough through the actual life and the barriers. But if you do, no more invulnerability phases. If you're too slow, still invulnerability phases. Let me show you on the Harbinger of Hatred. That's a boss I pretty much never do because I don't want to deal with his stupid portals. Come here, little dog. I need to show chat something. Up. No more portals, nothing. You can finally use all your materials for any single boss. Thank you, Blizzard. Biggest change ever. Second, very important thing you need to pay attention to, and that would be our chaotic armor and the problems that actually come with it. We're going to try to play our mythics in the slots they are supposed to be played in, and then we're going to substitute our normal boots for Vasily's Prayer, which would usually be all the way up, as we have a unique pants, unique gloves, and a unique chest piece. This is going to torch either our armor or our resistances. I've had my share of problems to actually meet both caps, and for this you really need to look at the alchemist and his instances, because you can get 10 to all resistance and 2 to maximum resistance, plus 150 armor, and then you can get another 300 armor on top, not having to care for actually playing your skulls, and you can play more resistant gems. And last but not least, don't forget the Spiral Morning, because this one is going to increase all your stats by 60, which gives you more crit chance, overpower damage, resistance to all elements, and armor. On top of this, for the love of God, don't forget the Den, and grab our good friend Rahir. He's going to be an absolute must-have merc as your first one, because he gives you Ground Slam, and then either 15% resistance, or on the other side, 15% bonus armor. Plus then on the tippity top, another 25% bonus damage. I think most of us are going to be looking for the resistance, not the bonus armor, because the instances are actually providing you another 150, 300, 450 armor. Another not so trivial thing to look out for. You're not going to have much movement speed, because your boots are most likely going to be a unique on any build. Which means we're not having the triple evade charges, we're not having attack to reduce cooldown of your evade. Evading gives you bonus move, none of this, not even a movement speed temper. Which means you either gotta look for uniques like the Dolmen Stone that say movement speed while Hurricane is active. And on top, look for bonus movement speed in your actual skill tree if there's anything you could weasel out to just move a tad faster. For Sork, this might become the most noticeable, since Sork often plays spam attack to reduce your evade cooldown, so you can then dash teleport around, attack, and so on. Now my boots are obviously the Banished Lord's Talisman at that given point, so I can play a full talisman again. That being said, for this build, I might be willing to actually discard an offensive aspect, like 13% more damage and triple if I'm standing still, just to get my Banished Lord's Talisman as my glove, and then I can actually put on normal boots that have the beautiful attacks reduce evade cooldown. Or you simply get used to being slower. And as we're talking about movement speed, you really want a quick and nimble build, because your time is being spent in Infernal Hordes. And optimally, you would want to be able to do 6-wave hordes as fast as possible. Why 6-wave hordes? Because we want to get 666 ether, and then we want to fight Mr. Bartok. Bartok is the new boss in the Infernal Hordes, and he's the main source of your chaotic uniques. I tried killing Belial very often to actually get a chaotic unique. I didn't get a single one in 10 kills. Maybe I'm just unlucky. You can also Obol gamble to actually get them, but most of the time we're going to be fighting Bartok. That means you might be having a pit-pushing build, which is good, right? Everyone should be having a pit-pushing build. But on top of having said pit-pushing build, You should also prepare one of your builds to be exceedingly good at just zooming through the Infernal Hordes. For example, minions are not good for the Infernal Hordes as a Necromancer. Boulder Druid is extremely good. Pulverized Druid might be powerful, but is a bit slower in the Infernal Hordes. Is a Meteor Sork fun to play? Yes, but would I play a Meteor Sork Infernal Hordes? Probably not. Do I have a Ball of Lightning Sword that can go absolutely around and just go in circles and absolutely destroy everything while I'm just zooming around? And I could even replace here potentially even my amulet, so I get like proper boots to dish and dash around here like there's no tomorrow. Yeah, I could probably do that. Instead of having, what do we have here right now? The Raiment of the Infinite. I mean, I could even say goodbye to the Raiment of the Infinite just to have even more quicker travel, that we can clear this even easier, because you're going to spend a lot of time in the Infernal Hordes. You're going to try to rack up as much ether as possible in a short amount of time. And the same actually goes for Hell Tides. You're going to spend a lot of time in them in the beginning, since you're going to be looking to pick up this Infernal Warp to actually level up your powers. And we don't exactly know yet where do you get your powers from. Which means, again, a zoomy, boomy, nimble build that can fly through, definitely preferred. This also kind of brings me back into the den, because if you play a Sork, for example, you have Mana Shield, which basically makes you unkillable. Maybe after the PDR, it's a bit different. But right now, I don't have the armor, my resistances are roughly there, but I don't care about damage taken, so I'm not going to hire Rahir to actually get resistances or to get armor on the other side. That's useless for me. I can't take damage. That means if you're really severely lacking movement speed, you want to hire Variana. Her basic is still Massacre. If you kill enemies, you get stacks, and with 100 stacks, you get even more bonus movement speed. To have or not to have. It's going to allow you to slightly move faster, and in the Infernal Hordes, you're not really caring about dying because you should be defensive enough. You'd rather have more movement speed for the Hell Tides, for the Infernal Hordes, for the Undercity, for wherever you're going. Last but not least, don't waste a single Obol before Torment 1. I mentioned it before, but gambling for armor, any of these armors, has a chance to poop out a chaotic unique. Yep. I can go for pants, they cost 25, boots, they cost 25. So instead of trying to actually get a Raiment of the Infinite, or a Lockhorn's Talisman, or whatever, I can just spam boots here, and I can hope to pull out a chaotic unique. It won't happen every roll, but if you're already going to spend your Obols, and if you're only going to look for a certain chaotic unique in a certain spot that would be build defining, like a glove, for example, then you might as well gamble away in that slot. Since otherwise you're forced to just do Bartuk, 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 Bartuk. But I really want Asador's Overflowing Cameo on my gloves, so I will spend every single point of Obols I have on gloves, hoping that it gives me a chaotic armor, hoping that it is then Asador's Overflowing Cameo. On top, I will still do Bartik, right? But that's at least a more guaranteed way, a more useful way to use your Obols. Instead of then just rolling and trying to get an Oaken's Catalyst, which you can get by killing Belial, killing the respective boss. I mean, you can get it easily. Why waste your Obols on something that you can get in another way, while getting Asador's Overflowing Cameo as my gloves will be pain in the buttonhole. Anything else you'd like to share that you noticed in the Season 10 PDR that is absolutely must-have knowledge? Also, if you're looking for banger Druid builds that will probably stay as strong as they are, with a slight lowering in the top end, maybe not 500 trillion, rather 200 trillion, or 10 trillion. Oh no. Enjoy, and have a fantastic good day.